Hey, welcome back to the Weekly Unfold. My name is Tijani and I am going to share how my week has unfolded over the last 7 days. This week things feel a bit layered, so I've done a bit of inward reflecting and also leaned on people and tools around me to explore things, but growth is a bit messy, right? So let's get into it. This time around I'm using a mic. I'm going to see if it makes a difference to the consistent buzzing sound that we had last time. So fingers crossed, arms crossed, legs crossed, everything crossed. But yeah, let's get into it. The one ask that I've made this week hasn't really been of anyone else. It's actually been on or of myself. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been building a series of different habits, whether that is going to the gym, whether that is doing this series, whether that is writing my newsletter consistently, things like that. So there are a few habits that I built up. So the question that I've asked myself this week is, how am I going to maintain that level of consistency when life returns back to some sort of normality? I'm currently not at home, I'm away, and when I get back home and I am living my regular life, going to work, doing all the things, can I keep this consistency? And I've realized that the main thing is to hold myself accountable. So I've kind of created a little chart which says, what have I done on different days? And I don't need to have ticked off every day. So I don't need to have worked out every day, but ideally I don't miss 2 days in a row. I don't need to have done something creative every day, but ideally I don't miss doing something creative for at least half an hour, 2 days in a row rather. So that's how I'm hoping to keep this consistency. And also by habit stacking, in that if I'm going to do one habit, if I'm going to do something that I already do consistently, there's no harm in me adding another habit to it. So an example could be, what could an example be? Like if I was going to, not if I was going to, I brush my teeth every day. What I could do is, after brushing my teeth every day, I could do 10 squats. So I'm stacking a habit on something that I do every day anyway. So I'm thinking about how I can habit stack with the various habits that I have built as well. Let's see. When it comes to the failure that I have made this week, or quote unquote failure that I've learned from this week, I don't feel like I've had a failure per se. I did feel a bit like a failure when I realized my videos, like all my videos, had tweeting sounds in them. And I felt like I should have done the work beforehand to try and figure out what that was all about. But actually, this is just the messy middle when you're trying to try something new or when you're experimenting with something new. So I'm not quite calling that a failure, but I haven't really had a quote unquote failure. And I think that's because I'm currently resting and enjoying doing a whole lot of nothing. So yeah, don't really have anything on failures this week. Okay, so when it comes to the lessons and reminders, the first one is about sleep and the idea that sleep is not the enemy. Because I'm often on the go, I prioritize sleep, but that doesn't mean that I get as much as I need. And when I tell you, this week, my sleep hygiene has been amazing. I've had, on average, about 8.5 hours sleep, on average, which is just, Yeah, it's it's unheard of. My average is usually, um, oh, I will tell you, my average used to be about 5.5 hours, and then I was working with one of my coaches, and we worked on a few bits and pieces, and I was able to increase it to about 6.5 hours, which is actually fantastic. So for me to get about 8.5 hours on average this last couple of days feels elite. My second thing, let me look at my notes. So my second thing or second reminder was or is about celebrating yourself and how it is important to celebrate yourself, and the fact that it's not necessarily about showing off or stroking your ego. Sometimes it's just important to look back and recognize that you've done some amazing things. So I've been reflecting on LinkedIn in particular, kind of like the highlights of the last half of the year, because whilst in the moment I just haven't had time to share them with people, I've just been going on to the next thing. And so in taking the time to actually pause and look back and reflect and celebrate those moments, I've found some real joy in that, and also realizing that I'm doing some great shit. I'm actually doing some really good stuff. And it's easy to forget that when you're in the weeds doing it the thing. So yeah, that's my second reminder slash lesson of the week, that it's okay to celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself, girl or guy. Celebrate yourself. Like, if not you, then who? Celebrate yourself. That's what I've been doing a lot of recently. And yeah, the memories have been great. And rounding off with three things I am thankful or grateful for. Um, the first thing, the first thing I am super thankful or grateful for is the time to catch up with my younger cousins and younger sisters. Um, I haven't had much time to do kind of like deep dive catch ups with them over the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. And having the space and time to do that has been beautiful. They're all grown up. Like, everyone's grown up. I get it. I get it. I get it. But it's beautiful to kind of like see their journey and hear their stories of like the things that they've overcome and the things that they're proud of and stuff like that. So shout out to them. That's been something I've been super like grateful for this last week. The next thing, how many of you have heard? Okay, so how many? This chair is really squeaky, but how many of you have heard of a chocolate macchiato or macchiato? Macchiato? I don't know. Correct me in the comments if I've pronounced it wrong. Essentially, it's hot chocolate mixed with, I guess, like a decaf coffee for me, because I don't drink caffeine generally. So, yeah, anyway, it's hot chocolate and coffee. Delightful. If you haven't tried it, if you haven't tried it, thank me later. It's beautiful. I don't know who came up with that concoction. We thank you, ma'am, sir, whoever you are, because it, yeah, anyway, it was lovely. It was lovely. And I've been drinking a lot of that recently because I didn't know that it was a thing that exists. So yeah, that's that. What else am I thankful and grateful for? Oh, the third and final thing is I've been reflecting on the various people that I have invested in to help me become bigger is the wrong word, better and truer person to myself. So this year, in particular this last quarter, that has looked like having a life coach, it's looked like having a business coach, it's also looked like continuing therapy. And having those three individuals in my life have exponentially made a difference to how I show up for myself, how I show up in my relationships, and even how I show up at work, to be honest. So I've just been reflecting on how grateful and thankful I am for, first of all, to myself for taking the step to find these various individuals and invest in myself, because ultimately these things cost money, and I've made the effort to do so. And then for those individuals who have taken the time to really get to know me as an individual and challenge me with grace, but ultimately challenge me. And yeah, really get me thinking about who I am and who I want to be and how I want to show up. Like, I wouldn't be doing this YouTube series if it wasn't for some of the conversations that I'd had with my coach, who is absolutely fantastic. Her name's Myleik Teal. I have been talking about Myleik for probably about a decade, and been watching her from afar, but she started doing coaching this year, and I was like, yeah, nah, do it. And I did it. And it's been amazing. She's been amazing. And I've just walked away with so much more, I guess, confidence in myself. So yeah, that's the final thing that I'm super grateful for, just having had the time and the capacity, or made the time and capacity to think about what I want, with these various people who have been amazing and helping me in my journey. So yeah, that's that. So that's what's unfolded for me in the last week. It's, as always, about showing up for yourself. This week has been about asking questions and, really looking at the things that are shaping us and the people around us. So that's that for the week. Would love to know, have there been any questions that you've been asking yourself or diving deep on? What are the things that you've been grateful for? What are the questions you've been asking? I said that already. What are the failures that you've embraced? And what are the lessons that you've learned? Drop them in the comments below, and until next time, stay out of trouble unless it's good trouble, in which case, go wild.